Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a model that launched in 2020, part of the capsule collection, meaning a short run of historically inspired Breitling watches, not a forever item in the catalog, but not individually numbered. This is the Breitling Superocean Heritage 57. The capsule collection giving us a true-to-history homage to the 1957 Breitling Superocean Reference 1004, the first Breitling dive watch. And it's an easy watch to wear. It measures 42 millimeters, but only at the edge of the bezel. The case is more compact than that. It's only 10 millimeters thick, which is incredibly thin for a watch of this style. And the timepiece measures from lug tip to lug tip 45.8 millimeters, so it is quite compact across the wrist the way a vintage watch would be. It has a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. You can see a combination of rose gold and stainless steel. It's warm without being too extroverted. The timepiece wears well on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, and you can see the lugs are nowhere near the edge of my wrist. Even with the cantilever overhang of the bezel, it's still flat enough that it's probably going to fit underneath even the tightest sleeves. And you can see over the top, the lugs are nowhere near the edge of my wrist. I can recommend this for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, and I normally don't say that about a 42 millimeter watch. The strap, as you can see, is a Breitling factory strap in brand new condition. Calfskin in yellow on the bottom, very thick cut, a minimally tanned saddle brown calfskin on the top with a contrasting stitch. You can see it has a folded edge and quite a bit of bolstering to add body and volume. It feels and looks upscale. We still have that contrasting stitch, including in the strap minder, and then you can see one of the strap minders is actually fixed in place, which is ergonomically brilliant. Will save you some fiddling. A big upgrade right here. This watch does not come with a folding clasp standard. It comes with a tang buckle. So someone paid at the point of sale to upgrade this watch to a full twin trigger, single fold deploying clasp for extra security against dropping your watch. That is something I love to see, adding value to this watch. The midcase is thin, and this is a characteristic of vintage watches and watches that are designed to emulate vintage watches. You can see there's a bit of an inward turn to the lugs and then a sharp outward bevel, but they are squared off, the midcase being so thin that just by stepping the case back a small amount, you create the appearance of a watch that's not 10 millimeters thick, but impossibly thin, more like 8 or 7 millimeters thick as it sits on the wrist. Now, everything's in high polish, but the case is so spare and minimalist, you don't mind it. Combination of media blasting and polishing on the crown. It is a push-down crown and 100-meter water resistance, so not strictly speaking a 6425 ISO dive watch. This is a historic style dive watch. And not because of the crown, but because of the bezel, which is bidirectional. Now you can see it's still useful for timing. You can line it up with the broadsword minute hand, and now you've got an impromptu count-up timer. But in vintage fashion, since this is the Superocean Heritage, we have only stick indices on the bezel. There are no actual numerical calibrations, though it does have a luminescent pearl. The dial is matte black with applique indices, an upscale feature that is rare on historic watches, but lends an air of luxury to this model. Of course, the bezel features a ceramic insert, as this is a modern watch, and a sapphire crystal for the same reason, both phenomenally durable and scratch resistant. There's a lovely glide to this non-indexed bezel, so it's not 120, it's not 60, it simply glides as though it were on Teflon, just like a vintage bezel but with greater refinement. Inside the case, and by the way, you can see it is the Superocean Heritage 57, we have caliber 10. Caliber 10 is a 5-position adjusted certified COSC chronometer that also includes a stop seconds function. It has a 4 Hz beat rate. It pivots on 25 joules. It has a 42-hour power reserve. It winds bidirectionally. It is based on the Sellita SW300, which is itself based on the ETA 2892A2. It is the thinner and finer of the two principal ETA movements. And again, SW200 is a 2824, made by Sellita. SW300 here is the upscale one, the 2892, made by Sellita. And again, all of that water resistant down to 100 meters, so while it's not a hardcore dive watch, it is well equipped to get wet, provided you put it on the right kind of a strap. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. And we are back with that vintage inflected dial, the Breitling Superocean Heritage 57, rose gold and steel.